How's it going? Wooden Spoon Supercoach here. You'll have to excuse my voice today. I was screaming my lungs out at karaoke last night and it's slowly going, but hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. We've got Mac here today. We're doing our team reveal number twos because everyone is posting team reveals because everyone loves it. They get plenty of views, so why wouldn't we do it? How you going, Mac?
Good, thanks, mate. How you doing? Other than the voice, you've had a bit of a rough week. I heard you had the flu or something.
Yeah, had the flu last week, which probably was also partially why my voice is kind of gone. Mostly the screaming and the alcohol, but yeah, no, I'm feeling good today outside of the minor hangover. Yeah, all the
Plenty of
flu shit's gone, luckily.
plenty of time to crunch the numbers and go over your Supercoach team while you were
Yeah,
sick.
I was in bed for a lot of the day, just staring at my Supercoach team, and I think I actually made some decent changes. So let's get into it. Let's start with the hookers. I'm back to the Jake Simpkin and Reed Marnie combo. I think there's just too much value there to say no to. I did originally have Simpkin and Brandon Smith. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think Brandon Smith could generate some good money as well. But I think it's just a little bit more guaranteed with Marnie. It is a bit of money to spend up there, but I don't mind it. I almost wanted to put in Harry Grant, just with the whole Storm sort of shuffle up of the team. The big guns are going to take some step ups in terms of output, you would think. And they also
hmm
don't have a buy right up until Origin. So can't argue with Harry Grant as an option. I just couldn't justify spending $1 million up in my hooker position. So that's what I've gone with. How about yourself?
I hear that. Sounds good. I actually thought about doing exactly what you've got with Jake Simpkin and Reed Marnie, but in the end, I went with just Reed Marnie and Brandon Smith. I want to run one cheapie in there. Brandon Smith looks like he's going to be starting, so should have some good value. And then I'll probably look to move one of them on to a gun, a hooker within the first sort of 5 or 6 weeks. Hopefully, we can get some value, and then I can bring in somebody like a Harry Grant or a Blake Brayley, depending on who's in form after we've gained some money in that position.
100%. I'll be chasing Harry Grant for sure early, especially if he goes like bang, bang, bang in round one and two and gets like a really low break even and looks like he's going to rocket up in price. I think it'd just be nice to get him, set and forget him, maybe sell him over Origin, depending on numbers and injuries and all that. But it's just nice to not have to think about hooker. So hopefully these mid ranges can be good for us. I genuinely think Marnie and Simpkin are like for like options, not like for like
Yep.
players, but I think their potential and their cash growth is basically the same. My front row's changed completely, almost completely. Obviously, Payne Haas is staying there. I think everyone needs him. I'd say he's a must have. Start of every year, he just chugs along. We don't really need to go over Payne Haas. Everyone knows how good he is. I have removed Terrell May and Keon though. Terrell, I kind of fell off with pretty soon after the team pick a video, mainly because of the Tigers round one bye. It's a lot of money to have sitting on the bench. And also, I think there is potential for him to lose a little bit of cash. Whether he can produce what he did last year is a little bit up in the air. So I think there's a lot of people fading him. And Keon, I did the Savo just to free up some money. I'm happy with Trey Mooney there as my second option. I think he can score well. Keon probably will be a target for me, though, if we do see him performing like he was at the end of last year. But he let me bolster up some other positions in my squad, so I think that was quite worth it. And then
Yep.
a couple of popular cheapies on the bench with Colhoun and Paseka. Colhoun is just set for some more minutes, and Paseka, everyone knows, is very underpriced. So happy with those two. How are
Yep.
you looking?
I like him. I got Payne Haas and Paseka as well. Same thing. I think Payne Haas season keeper from the start. Just grab him. Don't trade him unless he's out for several weeks with injury or something. But then I'm looking to generate some cash here, so I've gone with Flegler on the bench as well, and hoping that he has a good start to the season coming back from injury. And then Bentakura isn't locked in for me yet, but I do have him in there as a cheapie. I'll be keeping an eye out on the preseason for another potential front rower that's looking at getting a starting spot or big minutes at least, and trying to get him in there. I got a bit of cash in the bank, but I want to make some money and yeah, look again towards upgrading into like a Keon, or I might have a look at Naf White as well. I have been thinking about Naf
Mm,
White. That was a good shout from your side of things last video. But yeah, at the moment, Payne Haas, Paseka, Flegler, and a cheapie, the likes of Ben Takura or something. He's got the dual position, so that's handy.
Yeah, nice. I think White is probably another one of those targets that I'll look to get after kind of seeing how everything goes. Hopefully, Colhoun or Paseka can make a bit of money and I can just flip one of them out, or maybe one of my second row forwards.
My
Because, yeah,
bad.
I think.
Ben
Go on.
Takura doesn't have the dual position. Sorry, that's my bad.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of Tolti.
Tolti, that's the one. But yeah, I think the Roosters are in for a pretty hot year, and they're going to need the big boys pushing forward for them to do that. So
Yeah.
that kind of segues nicely into my second rowers. I'm starting off with Angus Crichton. I explained in my last video, he's either got Sam Walker or Cherry Evans next to him, putting him through holes. He seems a little bit cheap at 6'10", so I'm very happy with that. David Fafita, we don't really need to go over. Every man and his dog's going to have him. And Jermaine McEwen, who is getting the starting edge spot from what I've heard at the Knights. So 407k, he should easily be able to make about 100k, maybe a little bit more. On the bench, a couple of newer cheapies I've thrown in. We've got Caleb Navale from Manly. Just want more Manly boys in my team, and Manly's forward situation is pretty dire. There isn't a lot of depth there, so you'd think that Navale's going to have to put some real work in. We've got Lasardi here, which is interesting because I've heard that the Storm have actually signed Jack Hetherington to take that second row spot. So that's kind of killer. We thought it was out of Lasardi and Joe Chan, but it looks like it might be neither of them. So that's going to be a problem that many, many people are going to have to fix if that does eventuate. And then C. By, I saw that you've got him too. I just was watching Fantasy Jamie, and he had him in there, and I needed a second row cheapie, so I've thrown him in. Know literally nothing about the bloke, but he's cheap, so in he goes.
All right. Well, Cooper Bai is son of legend Marcus Bai.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, and played one game for the Titans at the end of last year. Looked unreal. So, it looks like he's fighting for a starting spot. So, if he gets it, then he'll be great value.
Yeah, nice.
Same thing, I got Lasardi in there as well. I'm looking for a couple of cheapies on the bench. Then I got McEwen, though. He's actually on the bench for me at the moment. On the starters, I've got Corey Horsburgh, Big Red from down in Canberra. He's got the dual position. He was really strong for me at the start of last season. I think he'll come out firing. Canberra will be upset with the way they finished last year, and Big Red will be looking to have a big start to the year. So he should be good. He should grow in value a little bit. Maybe I can upgrade him later on. Maybe I'll keep him for the whole season, to be honest. Then, same as you, Fafita could average 70 or 80, probably going to be in most teams. Then, I was really looking for somebody of good value here, and I was crunching numbers, and Jermaine Hopgood just stood out to me. His numbers just seemed impressive, and I have a feeling he had a bit of a down year last year in the sense that he can do a lot better, and he does love to come out starting the season really strong as well. He's got 100 in him if he gets a try or something, and the Eels are on the up. So with the dual position, I thought Jermaine Hopgood was actually a really good shout this year to start things off in the second row. So that's who I've gone with. But yeah, definitely can't argue with some of your choices there either.
Yeah, I quite like Horsburgh. That's definitely a pod, and he's a pretty consistent sort of 60 to
Yep.
70. So he could, I don't think he'll struggle in getting to at least sort of 650k up to potentially 700k. Yeah, I don't mind that one at all. And yeah, Hopgood definitely underpriced, and we know what he can do, especially in his debut year. It was just ridiculous. I think I want to say he scored like back to back to back 120s at one point.
Yeah,
And
he's had some good runs. He has had some good runs, that's for
yeah,
sure. And they were all early season. And then he barely had low games. Like he would have like a 30 once a season or something like that. So like he's really consistent. And again, like I think he had a bit of a low year. So Hopgood, I'm looking for both of those dudes. They could Horsburgh and Hopgood, they could stay in my team all year if they keep performing and just bust out 60s, and I can get some value somewhere else with Fafita and upgrade some of the other guys. But if things don't go good, there's still a bit of value there that I can move them on to somebody else. So, yeah, looking for a pretty strong start in the second row. It's a position that I wasn't really that sure how I wanted to approach it. I've gone for guns in like the highest scoring positions, and second row, while there's a lot of potential, it wasn't consistently the most high scoring position. So I haven't spent as much there as I have in some of the other spots.
yeah, second row forward's definitely where the value is. On Fafita, I'm still not completely sold that he's going to get like a solid amount of minutes. But then I saw the video of him wrestling Latrell on the beach, and I was like, yeah, I need to get him in. He's just a force to be reckoned with, so can't argue with it. Moving on to halfback, Mitch Moses. This hasn't changed for me. I think Moses is the value pick. Cleary has a really tough draw. It is Cleary, but, draw's not everything, but it's something to consider. And Moses has a ceiling. He can score tons. He's got the goal kicking. We've been over this. Everyone knows he's a good value option, and I think he will be staying in my team until round 1. And Daniel Atkinson, same sort of thing. For a while, I was toying with having Atkinson in my flex and having Kobe Black or Ethan Sanders in my secondary halfback slot. I just didn't like it. I feel like that's kind of underutilizing the flex position. So especially moving Keon on it let me go from cheapy to a reasonable player down there, which we will get to. But happy with those. And you're exactly the same. So
Yeah, I got the same as you. Look, it's too tough to choose between like the top tier halfbacks, and it's one of those positions that I feel like doesn't necessarily do that score that high every week. So I was actually considering to run two GPs in halfback and save some money, put the money somewhere else, like in the center wing, in the fullback, in the front row. Positions that could score 100 more often, I think, than the halfbacks. So I ended up still going with Moses because I agree with you that he's just a really great value pick to start the season with the goal kicking added on and having hopefully a full season this year. He should be great. So look, Moses could be the play that most people go with. If you're not looking at one of the top tier guys, Moses is great. Otherwise, honestly, I have no problems with people doing the double cheapie in the halfback and trying to make some money with like a Ethan Sanders and the Daniel Atkinson. Once one of them is, looks like they've hit their peak, move them on, upgrade them then.
yeah, 100%. Oh my God, my voice. Yeah, if Moses wasn't underpriced, I probably would go for the double cheapie. It's not like having, 400K spent in your halfback. As long as what you do with that extra money is working, then it really doesn't matter. So yeah, I 100% agree. And we've got the same situation with our 5'8s. We're both rocking Munster and Pezzett.
Yeah, look, I didn't want to cheap out here. I just wanted to get a gun and I wanted a piece of the storm, like you said. And then Pezzett is the no-brainer, probably going to be the number one cheapie pick of the year. So this is probably going to be a really common setup to start the season. But I think it makes sense. It's Munster will be consistent and Pezzett will grow in value. And then, Pezzett could be a season keeper, or if he hits his peak, again, move him on. I can't see Munster losing value though. He, should average 70 for the season. So it's more about whether or not you want to deal with trading him out at Origin time.
Yep, exactly. I did have Cody Walker there for $3.99, who looks like an absolute bargain, and he is an absolute bargain. But when I was looking at my team, I was thinking, what here can cause me problems? And Cody Walker, getting his walking frame out at this age, like it's just one of those things. That's such an unnecessary drive-by, but it's just how it goes in rugby league. I can really see him just coming potentially off the bench, not getting a start, scoring just 20s or whatever, because he is quite attacking stat reliant, and I can just see that becoming an issue. So I got rid of him. Onto center wing. So I feel like this is probably where most variety is going to happen with people's teams. So
Great.
I did have Herbie, and I still want Herbie. It's just the price tag on him, the form the Dolphins had with their attack to get him to that price. Can they replicate it? Probably. I don't think it's unreasonable to think they can, but I just feel like my team is much better balanced without him in it. We can kind of see how he goes. He does have incredible base stats and all that, but there are cheaper options that also have that. So I've gone with Kiraz. Gus Gould's given him the tick of approval, and anytime that happens, that player tends to explode, and we already know how good Kiraz is, so I've slotted him in. Kale Liro, similar to Kiraz, very good base stats, scored 10 tries in a row last year, and has Stone Street coming in on his left to take over Mulatalo. So potentially there isn't as much trust with Stone Street as Mulatalo, so maybe he runs the ball himself a bit more. I don't know, but even if he doesn't, he is a very solid sort of 60 points a week at least. Brian To'o, one of the best wingers of the last 10 years, very underpriced. Penrith do have quite a hard draw as well, so I feel like they will be having to strip numbers and potentially score on the wings more so than not. So I quite like that. And then we've got Warbrick, also underpriced. Another Melbourne player who doesn't have a buy right up until Origin. And he's probably not going to play Origin either. So I quite like him as a pick as well. And a few cheapies on the bench. So, what's his name? I don't even know.
Macassini.
I'm trying to think of his first name. Something what am I saying? I'm thinking Halasima. God, my brain. Yeah, Macassini. We've been over him. He's been at my team since the start, so we won't go over him too much. Tom Chester. I actually popped him in after I saw him in your team. Apparently, he is fighting for I think it might even be Drinky's spot. I think I heard somewhere that he's falling out of favour.
No, so well, look, I don't love the three cheapies on your center wing. I don't love that. But I don't really love how I've got two on there. But David Farley and Tom Chester look like potentially the two cheapies most likely to get one of those center wing spots. Tom Chester has been impressing at the club, might get the center spot actually on one side, or a wing spot there. Definitely not Drinky spot. But
Yeah, I was
and
going to say
then
that would
David
be rogue.
Farley apparently is looking ahead of Setu 2 even at the Dragons. But yeah, so look, they look like the most likely cheapies at this point, but we'll have to wait to see what happens at the preseason to know where those value players are really going to come from in that center wing position. But yeah, look, I love the Kiraz and the KL Iro play. They're really good. I'm 100% with you with Herbie. I had him in the team. I realized that the team just felt unbalanced. And while I needed a gun in the CT dub position, I couldn't afford 850,000 for Herbie
Yeah.
if I wanted to have Cam Munster in the team. So, it was just one of those sacrifices I had to make. But Selwyn Cobbo was kind of on the out with the Broncos last year, and he's shown up by all reports in great form and having a great relationship with Herbie at training, and should be taking Jack Bostock's wing spot. And Bostock will be out until at least like round 8 from his injury. So Selwyn Cobbo to start the season, and then I'll potentially look to upgrade him into a Herbie Farnworth. Maybe
Mm,
Herbie drops a little bit of value, Cobbo goes up in value. I can do a bit of a swap before Herbie goes into the full swing of things. So that's sort of what I'm looking for there. And then I definitely like the Brian To'o play, but yeah, I've gone for Grant Anderson. I want a piece of the Broncos attack. I think he'll be looking to prove himself, and he is a weapon at the Storm and just didn't get consistent gameplay in the same position. So looking for him to lock down his spot at the Broncos and perform week in, week out. He's a real effort player, and he's got the flair as well. So I definitely want a piece of those strong attacking teams. So Bulldogs, Dolphins, Broncos, the Storm. I'm with Warbrick as well. I think he's good value there. Samrani, I mentioned in the last video. I just think he passes the eye test. He's got the dual position. He could get more minutes at the Eels this year, who are on the up. So should go up in price a bit. Then yeah, a couple cheapies. We'll see who actually makes a side, a starting position on the wing or in the center at that bottom value to kick off the season. And I do have a bit of spare cash, so even if I have to upgrade a cheapie in the center wing or in the forward somewhere, I've got about 500,000 to play with, so I can do that if I need to.
nice, nice. I don't have the willpower to not blow all my money and hold on to some, so I respect that. Samrani is one that I would like to get in as well. Ideally, he gets the wing spot outside Moses. That'd be a nice little combination to have both of them. Yeah, I rate it. Fullbacks.
Fullback.
Getting rid of Keon was to fund Walsh. It's just kind of scary not having him. Yeah, look, I don't think he can quite replicate what he did in the finals series, but he doesn't have to. If he does replicate that, then he's fucking underpriced, which is crazy. But I can see him averaging sort of like 80s and high ceiling, exciting to watch. Yeah, I can't not have him. It's too scary.
I'm not going to ride that wave with you. I am going to fade on Walsh for the start of the season. Basically, everything we said about Herbie, I think applies to Walshy.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what happens for the first couple of rounds. Look, I might miss out on some big points, but I don't necessarily think Walshy is going to be, going 130, 150 points in the first couple of weeks of the season. I think they'll be trying to find their feet and establish their principles and stuff as a team. So while he will be like a key focus point, I also think the defense will have it out for him in those first few weeks,
Yep.
and it'll, that will free up the Broncos to score in other places. So, look, I'm probably not going to go for Walshy unless he's an absolute must-have, and I need to see that happen first. So, yeah, look, I don't, I don't mind it, but I think it's a ballsy play, man. It's a ballsy play.
Yeah, I am shitting myself a little bit over it because it could go very wrong.
Yeah.
But the Broncos do also have a really strong draw to start. I think they've got the Titans and Para and stuff in there. So against the Titans, he fully could go a 130 or 140. So yeah, it's definitely a wait and see. And if, he does have a bit of a slow start, then I can downgrade him coming into price changes, and that will give me a lot of money to tinkle with my team where I need to as well.
That's a good play.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've slapped in Turbo in Flex. I love the guy, and he's a beast,
Yep.
and he's fit and healthy currently, so he will be in my team. And I'm a biased Manly fan.
Yep.
And then we've both got Keeney on the bench as well. Everyone's going to have him lock and load.
Think so. Kenny is definitely the number one pick, I think, to start the season. If he averages 70, he's going to make 300,000. I mean, plus he's got the potential to score 100 points or more every game, depending on how this Titans spine kind of clicks into gear. But he's got some good forwards there to push the pace and stuff for him. So yeah, look, I'll be looking forward to seeing what Kenny can do. I've gone with Ponga and Scott Drinkwater. Ponga absolutely burnt me last year. Held on to him too long and he just drained money. But I'm going to give him another chance to start things off. I think that the Knights, they have to improve. They can't get worse, especially in attack. Ponga to start the season last year was phenomenal. I think he'll be looking to repeat that. So, yeah, hopefully get some good value out of Ponga this season. And then Scott Drinkwater, I think the Cowboys have a really good start to the season as well, like a pretty easy draw to kick things off. And the attack that's going to happen at the Cowboys is going to go through Scott Drinkwater. Tom Dearden, potentially Jackson Purdue in the halves or Clifford with him. Reed Marnie's new there. It's going to be going out the back to Scott Drinkwater to make things happen, and then he should be picking up the try assists with his outside backs. So with the goal kicking as well, he was top 3 or 4 fullback last season, and I didn't get him once. So I think at this season, I'm not going to miss the Scott Drinkwater train. I'm going to be on that from the start, and yeah, hopefully he brings a lot of value to the team early on. And otherwise, like you said, if with Walshy, if things don't go good, I'll just move him on round 3 before the price drops. And yeah, he's got a fair bit of value there. So Scott Drinkwater for me in the flex.
Yeah, nice. On Dearden, if I'm pretty sure he is going to be starting at halfback, but if by some miracle he does get that 5'8" duel, he excites me. I think he is in for a big year. With Purdue, Purdue in the halves last year was really bad for Drinky's scores. So that would definitely be something to keep an eye on, but I'm pretty sure it looks like he'll be lining up at center, but we'll have to wait and see what Todd Payton's thinking on that.
Yep, not too sure where they're going to line up, but Drinkwater, he should be good value no matter what, I think.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, that's that. Nice, easy video. I think we'll probably do one more of these sort of right before round 1 when we're decided and locked our teams in and more cheapies have come up. So thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate it. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
Let us know if we got anything really wrong or if you think we missed anyone, or let us know if you agree with some of the stuff that we've said.
Yeah, absolutely. Next video, we'll go over some of the guns to target that we're not necessarily starting with. We'll have a look at some notable sort of runs of games for teams, and that should be very helpful for planning our way through the year. So look forward to that one, and thanks again for watching. Appreciate you guys.